good morning, good morning, good morning. This is your host, Val, with the Love and Victory Show with Val. I got Brother Carter, who is going to be running the show today because it's from a man's perspective.
Oh, it's the first Saturday?
It's the first Saturday. Where you been?
I'm still on.
Y'all know it take Brother Carter a little while to get going because it's early. And it takes Sister Carter even longer. We are here. Good morning, Abby. How you doing this morning? Good morning. I see you got your right hand and your left hands over there. You got Christian and you got Jay ready to go.
Yes, I got everybody here today.
All right, Carter, how you feeling this morning outside? Copacetic. All righty, so today's show is going to be about mixing. Well, the title is Mixing It Up. What y'all think about that? I'm going to tell y'all, when the guys first came up with the title of Mixing It Up, I'm like, mixing what up? What are we talking about? And they said, let's talk about interracial dating. And I'm like, oh, I love that. So we're going to go there this morning. So we want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly
Of interracial relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right, Brother Carter, you have anything to say?
I'm an expert on that too.
You're an expert on that?
I'm unlicensed, but I'm an expert on that.
You're an expert. You seem a little low this morning. I can barely hear you. Is it my mic?
No.
Or is that just being cool?
No, just trying to get my mind right.
Okay.
Trying to get myself together here. So.
Okay, then. Okay. Well, ready to start off the show. Let's go for it.
What you gonna do?
Well,
let's do something a little bit different.
Oh, okay. It's from a man's perspective, stand back.
Let's do something
I say it every time. I'm gonna stand back.
Okay. So
what we gonna do different?
We're gonna come back after a song and a commercial, and then.
That's not different.
Yeah.
We do that.
Oh, that's what we're doing anyway?
That's what we do anyway. All right, there you go, Abby. Do what you do. All righty. Am my mic back on? I can't. What's that?
Simple.
Music?
Who love me and who don't, Lord, let it reveal.
What is that? Oh,
we got another song coming in.
That was another song coming in. I don't think my mic is on.
Your mic is on.
Okay. Well,
all right. If yours not on, that's scripture time, right?
Yes. Okay. Scripture time.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Victory Show with Val. Scripture is going to come from the book of John. Actually, 1 John, chapter 1, verses 8 and 10. I'll keep it short. Put my glasses on so I see. It says, if that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say that we have not sinned, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us. It's been the reading of 1 John chapter 1, verse 8 through 10. May the Lord add a blessing to the hear readers and doers of his word. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Justin, for letting me know that you can hear me.
I'm going to let you do the prayer.
All righty. Dear Heavenly, most gracious God, we just come as humble as we know how, thanking you, O Heavenly Father, for everything. I thank you, O Heavenly Father, for my peaceful night, for our peaceful night, those that had a peaceful night. I thank you, O Heavenly Father, for the rising this morning. Oh, Heavenly Father, I'm excited about this show. I love when I can sit back and just get fed. So I'm going to do my best this morning to sit back and be fed, because this morning is from a man's perspective. Let someone be touched, healed, and delivered today. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All righty. I ain't going to say nothing about you saying you ain't going to say nothing.
Okay, don't pick on me. I'm not going to say too much.
I ain't saying nothing about it.
Okay, then.
All right, so we're talking about mixing it up, huh?
Yes.
Mixing it up a little bit.
Yes.
And we're going to mix things up today. What is so much going on today? Let's talk about a few things that's going on today. And before we go there, I want to give big ups to my Rockets. They beat Arizona yesterday, Phoenix, Arizona yesterday, one of the big dogs in the NBA.
Ah,
Salute to the Rockets. The young Rockets are doing they look very good last night.
okay,
I ain't gonna say
I was
they
getting
doing.
ready to say.
All right,
So
I ain't
y'all
gonna
always
say.
like to go to the championship after one week.
Well, we look good yesterday.
Okay,
They
then
looked
they looked
good
good
last night.
yesterday.
Yeah, last night they looked good. That was a good win for the young team, and that's just to build on that confidence that they need to go forward.
All righty then.
So that's a good thing for them.
Okay.
I'm happy for the young.
Well, I'm happy
Rockets.
for you because I know you tired of your teams losing.
Uh,
Well,
we're gonna do better somewhere down the road.
the Texans get better
Yeah, they're gonna get better.
when season
Next
over.
season. Next season.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
our themes. That's our theme words. Next season.
Next season.
Next
But
season.
how many seasons
Next
y'all been
season.
saying that though?
Yeah,
Okay. Since the
next
Oilers
season.
left,
Next
we need to
season.
go back and get our team.
Yeah.
The
Why
Oilers.
is your mic so loud?
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't hear
Yeah,
you.
something. Yeah.
But that's okay. You don't have to tell people we got problems. All righty then. Well, I'm gonna
You're
lead up.
debatable this morning.
I
huh?
am. I'm ready. Tell me someone that's coming in here by the name of O'Neal Hudson, and he likes to debate. Well, let's just see if he can handle Miss Carter in a debate. It's gonna be
What
fun.
kind of debate you want to have?
Well, I don't want to debate. I'm gonna sit back because I hear it has something to do with.
You gonna
dating.
debate about the mixing it up, the interracial relationships?
No, I'm gonna be open and then I'm gonna give my perspective. And some people as a debate, I just take it as my perspective.
Okay. All right. So what time is it?
It's time for.
Something else.
Go ahead.
It's so much going on in the world today, man.
They got something for us.
And what the world need today
Is what?
is more love.
Oh.
I mean, we've got to do better as a people. I mean, we have. I heard on the news this morning, this man, FedEx driver, picked this little girl up and killed her for something. What the Sam Hill is going on when a FedEx contract driver delivering packages saw this little girl. I don't know if he know her, known or unknown, but they found the little girl dead. And it's sad.
Wow.
It's sad. It's sad.
I saw that this morning too.
You saw that this morning?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So and they finally caught 2 Chainz next door or whatever that boy name that got killed. What's his name?
What is he talking? Don't let him do current events. He can. Please don't let him.
What's the guy name?
Migos?
Yeah, the Migos.
Did
Two-Face.
You call it? No, it's not.
What's
no,
his name?
Stop. You can take off.
Take off. Yeah. I knew it was something, but I didn't know what it was.
That's why you can't do current events. That's how you can't do that.
No, I was just saying they finally caught his alleged killer.
Well, I'm gonna leave that alone because I have a. I don't know if that's his. I'm gonna say it.
What?
Do y'all really believe that he's the one that shot him?
I said allegedly.
I know, but do y'all believe it?
That who? Wait, what is
the guy that they arrested? They said that he was the one. He's the one that allegedly shot and killed.
the guy that they arrested for?
They just arrested yesterday.
Oh,
for killing.
Takeoff. I didn't know, but I didn't look into that. Like honestly, after the whole thing happened, like I didn't see them about making an arrest or anything. The last time I was into it. Oh wow.
Yeah, it just did. They
say he just got him a passport and he had bought him a ticket to go to Mexico.
And he had cash money.
Interesting. Oh, wow.
Which is
interesting. Well, we're going to let them do the current events today. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and do the one. So I don't know if y'all heard about the Balenciaga dress, but they released like a holiday Christmas kind of ad campaign.
Balenci?
Oh, they're a designer brand. And we got this story from The Cut. But yeah, it's like a designer brand. Kim Kardashian has been known really recently to be like promoting this brand, wearing this brand, and stuff like that. But they actually recently dropped a holiday campaign featuring children with teddy bears and stuff. And then kind of in the background of the photo, like not as like the main focus of the photo, was like bondage harnesses and costumes and stuff like that. And there was even like some documents of it was something about like like pedophilia on there. Like I don't know if it was court documents or what, but it had you could like read what it said, and it was, people are like, why are you doing this? Like, it's, someone has to make that set, right? So they purposely meticulously put that there for a reason. They put literally anything else, and so they're kind of just facing a lot of backlash for child exploitation and stuff like that, which has brought a lot of not controversy, what's the word? Conspiracy theories.
Well, one of the things that that came up about this is that that I thought people were burning, kind of getting rid of their all of the bags and shirts and stuff like that. But it was funny how Kim Kardashian stayed quiet for so long. Then she came out with this little weak statement, which I thought was ridiculous. And then there was a lawsuit that was filed. Then now all of a sudden the lawsuit has been dropped. I just think it's the whole thing is just a and then the owners want to act like they didn't know anything about it, which I thought was a joke, because you not know. It's like me allowing you guys to, I mean, I look at the pictures, I look at people, it's like me not knowing who you're bringing on the show. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, not knowing, like,
approve a whole set.
Especially like when kids are involved. Like, I mean, you know, one of my other jobs, I work with children, and I already know that you have to be very, very like on your A game, watch what you say, watch what the children see and stuff like that. So
it was approved.
Oh yeah, it was approved by so many people, especially a big brand like Balenciaga. And there's actually a tweet that I saw that I wanted to talk about. There was a picture.
Can we do the disclaimer?
Oh, we can do let's do the disclaimer.
You could just put it up.
Do this one, Abby. There we go.
Right, disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Oh, you want to go ahead and go with it?
Yes. So the tweet, it was by user Kate Shaw. Her username is Troll20. She said, people really expected Kim Kardashian to condemn Balenciaga, and she let them put 9-year-old Northwest in a gimp mask for Fashion Week last month. We were unable to get the photo loaded onto the screen, but you can search up this tweet and find it. And yeah, it's Northwest, you know, Kim Kardashian's daughter, Kanye West's daughter, wearing, I'm not really familiar with what it is, but I guess it's some sort of like sexual BDSM reference. She's wearing a mask for that, and it was pretty like awkward to see, and the fact that like Kim Kardashian isn't now taking away her association with Balenciaga is just kind of shocking, especially with everything going on.
Yeah, I tell you. Okay, I'm gonna move on before I say something else. I'm over Kim and her shenanigans. Okay.
Yeah,
She
so we can do.
Her ex-husband. She want to keep up with her ex-husband.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's just ridiculous. Okay.
All right. Moving on. Hey, gang. So
you gotta give me some energy this morning.
Okay.
Everybody seem like they just down.
So we were talking about the Texans earlier, and Brother Carter was saying how that progress we keep waiting on, that'll be next season.
Yes.
Well, a part of the reason why they're currently in such a significant rebuild is because their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, demanded a trade, and he is now with the Cleveland Browns. He was suspended for 11 games due to the fact that more than 20 plus women, more than 24 women came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct, massages that he requested over Instagram. And so he is making his return to football after a season.
Point out that miraculously came after he demanded.
Right. So that's the part.
Right.
That's the part that I have a real issue with. And I said I was going to be quiet in this segment.
Not no segment.
Not
Go
no
ahead.
segment. It really annoys me how it's a takedown on people when you don't want to go along with. And I'm not here to say whether it happened or it didn't happen. I'm a woman. If it happened, a person should be held accountable for doing someone wrong. But I'm really kind of getting over how people of power want to really destroy a person, individual, when they don't go up, when they're tired of just going along. So I'm just going to shut up.
And it should be noted, Deshaun has, since the beginning, he has long denied any wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 Texas grand juries did decline to indict him on criminal charges.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority of these cases have been settled outside of civil court, with 1 still pending. But anything that did come down would be a civil lawsuit and not criminal. Having said that, the attorney that was representing these more than 24 women, Tony Busby, has said that 10 of those women who accused Watson are planning to attend tomorrow's game in NRG Stadium. And according to Busby, they want to attend the game to kind of make the statement, hey, we're still here. We matter. Our voice was heard, and this is not something that is over. So if we thought that with the suspension being concluded, Deshaun getting back to football, if we thought, maybe we're moving on,
you only deceive yourself.
Right. There's at least this one more chapter.
It's all about the money at this point. I think it's all, my opinion, it's all about the money. So, yeah, you guys are me. And how do y'all feel about that?
I don't have no opinion.
You don't have an opinion?
Nope.
You gonna kill yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it must be really tough.
I mean,
how do you feel?
I will always believe in innocence until proven guilty, for sure. I will say that it does look really bad for 20 plus women to come forward and have the same sort of accusation.
Oh, it's bad.
Right.
And believe, it is bad.
I don't think that it's not some truth behind it. I'm talking about how, if you got that many women that are saying this has been going on for a while. Why did it come out once he decided to? Why are we dealing with that's my
timing?
issue.
The timing is
that's my issue.
And I agree. When that came out, the timing was very bizarre.
Yes.
Because he was trying to force a trade, and certainly Texans ownership looked very bad because, of course, this is the worst run franchise probably in sports.
Right.
With their star quarterback demanding to leave town. But having said that, it makes sense for them to leak that story and then try to figure out a way to get the most for him in a trade.
Well, I think that they knew that he was gone because he was serious about leaving. And so, I'm not defending him. I'm defending how it was handled. They knew he was leaving. He wanted to leave, meaning that he had checked out. Now we're going to leak this story.
And so didn't most of these accusations take place on Texans facilities?
In a hotel room that the Texans provided for Deshaun Watson.
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the Texans had lawsuits filed against them as well that they settled outside of court.
Right.
So the organization can't walk away saying they aren't implicit in some of these things happening. Yeah. But Tony Busby
it's a different way of lynching there, in my opinion. And it's sad that in 2022 we're still dealing with the effect of hatred, bigotry, and racial despair. We're still in that state, and here we are having a conversation today about mixing it up into interracial relationships. And so this is as a black man, I get offended when I hear a lot of things that happen and take place with us as men. So I'm trying to not get all eros.
Emotional. All right, well, let's go. I think that was a good best of a conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over your spot,
that's
but go
all right.
ahead.
No, continue.
Yeah,
But just to kind of tie a bow on this, the attorney Tony Busby, certainly he makes his living by inserting himself into the press
thank you.
any way possible.
Keep going. There you go.
So even if he is on the right side of an issue, to me, it seems like he's going about it in a way that's less than in the best interest of the people who were affected.
There
it's
you go.
always in his best interest. To me, and I know we played that disclaimer
for the Love and Victory show.
For the Love and Victory show. But I don't need him coming after me.
Opinion.
That my humble opinion.
Yeah, well, that's our opinion because he's always on camera.
Always
for everything. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna move. Y'all got this stuff in here in my blood water this morning. All right then.
All right.
All right then. Moving on.
What else we have going on?
All right. Do you want to get started with our riddles? We can get started with our
riddles.
Let's
give a riddle real quick.
All right.
Let's get going this morning.
Let me get a riddle going. All right. Okay, this one's funny. What rock group consists of 4 famous men? This is in honor of our men's episode. What rock group consists of 4 famous men, but none of them sing?
Oh, okay.
This one's a trick.
I see photo booth is out there.
None of them sing.
None of them sing.
None of them
Photo
sing.
booth, what you think? Somebody help us out over here. Justin, what do you think? Give the question again.
The question is, what rock group consists of 4 famous men, but none of them sing?
I know.
Kiss.
Answer.
No.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Ooh.
Y'all want me to tell y'all?
I do.
Yeah.
Mount Rush.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Good job.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Get it? Because they're rock.
The Rock. That was good.
Made
Okay. Look at you. What?
I think he's
Don't
jealous.
say nothing. Don't say nothing. All right, that was pretty good. You want to give me one more?
Yes, I can give you one more, and then we'll come back with the answer.
Yes.
So give them some time to think.
Yeah, they don't sing, they don't blink, they don't do
somebody
anything.
said, photo booth said Milli Vanilli. I got it.
All right, so the next question
Put the answer down there for her.
The next question is, where would you take a sick boat? A sick boat.
Say that again.
Where would you take a sick boat?
Oh, wow.
Out to sea.
All right. I think we should give them a song.
We'll give them a song.
And then we'll come back and
Please
let them
help
ponder
out.
for a little
I
bit.
got a problem. Let's see if I can pay them a little money.
All right. I'll say the question.
Okay.
Where would you take a sick boat?
Are you really talking about a boat, like on the water boat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Where would you take a sick boat?
Where you take a sick boat, huh?
We'll be right back.
Oh, we are this morning. Okay. Well,
Does that sound a little still the same thing?
Still the same, but we're going to come on back with the riddle.
The riddle, yes. The answer to the riddle is photo booth got it.
Photo booth got it?
Let me say the question one more time. So the question is, where would you take a sick boat? And photo booth got it, and that is to the dock.
Wow. Now see,
Watching the ships roll in. You watch them walk away again.
Oh.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Wait. Come on, stop.
Yeah.
I got a little bit watching the tides roll away. Yeah. I know the song.
You know the song?
It's talking about the bay and the water and the ships and the boats and stuff like that. What do you guys think of this guy that fell off the boat?
For the carnival?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you fall off the boat?
You had to either be on the edge, you had to be really drunk. Edge, and he did say right? Something like that, but you had to be standing up on them, right?
You have to want to go over there. I've been on the edge of the boat in the daytime. He was at night, and it's very refreshing just sitting there. You can get lost in that, just looking at that water sometimes. And I think he got captivated by the water and just
But
say,
how can you? It's dark,
yeah, he got lost in it.
Brother Carter.
No, seriously, you know, your mind is a very
So are you
powerful.
saying that he got just walked to the edge and said,
Yeah,
because it's up here? I mean, it's not like you could just.
right. He got lost in the
Y'all
water.
hear Brother Carter?
And he went for it.
He went for what?
He went for the swim.
So he decided to jump in there.
He went
Did
for
you?
the swim.
Is that something you know to be factual, or are you
I'm
just
telling you. I'm
assuming?
telling you what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
He was on. He was
I'm
on that
telling you
stuff.
about the mind. Mind. The mind got caught up in the water. He was looking. He was staring at the waters.
He was
He
staring.
was staring at the water. He was looking at it, and all of a sudden his mind said, "Go for it."
It just snapped like that.
And his mind told him to go for it, and he went for it. But he didn't. He had no clue the ship was going to keep going because his mind got lost.
So you're going to give your whole commentary based off of how your mind can get lost.
Yeah, I think this is a show that we speak of our own opinion.
Yes, sir, Brother
Okay,
Carter.
but I'm telling you,
You can see it.
I see it. I see it. I've been on the shore. I've been on the edge of the boat, and I'm looking at the water, and I see how you can get lost in it.
Baby, a photo booth said he was intoxicated.
He was that, but I can be intoxicated and still not fall off. You know.
God, the room is quiet.
Okay.
The room is quiet.
Because I summed it up. Put the mic in. I'm dropping the mic.
You gonna drop the mic over? Nothing else needs to be said.
No, but there is something about being in the middle of the ocean, hundreds of miles away from land. You know, like as far as you can see, it's
nothing but water.
If you've never experienced that before,
yeah,
I can definitely see getting lost.
You can get lost.
I can get lost all I want. I'm not getting up. Standing up on something. He had to stand up on something, because you're not. If you walk up to the edge of the ship, you're on the carnival.
There's safeguards there.
Yeah, there's safeguards. You have to stand up and intentionally.
I got lost. I'm telling you. You don't understand.
Okay, I don't understand.
You don't understand. I'm telling you.
He was really drunk. He was on something more than just liquor.
No, it ain't had nothing to do with it. He would have done it sober.
Oh,
yes. His mind got caught up at the waters.
At the waters.
Yeah.
And he was going to walk on the waters.
Yeah, he got caught up in the waters.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, you really got to be careful with your mind, because your mind will tell you to do a lot of things, doing a lot of strange things today, because the mind is telling you to do these things.
Yeah,
There's something internal taking place that's telling you to do the things that we do today.
Something that I see pretty often is like postpartum depression, and then like these people do like horrible things to the babies because they because you know something takes over in their head and tells them to do these awful things. And
like the lady that drowned all the kids years ago. What's her name?
Andrea Yates.
Yes.
Is that the one who's married to an astronaut or something?
No, that was the one in Clear Lake area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her.
Yeah, I mean, people, the mind.
That's true.
The mind get caught up in.
But he was
and if we all honest, our minds all tells us to do different things. But some people act on those things.
It just depends on the state where you're at, because you can really be going.
You can get caught up in thoughts.
I like the way you said that, Brother Carter. You're right. You can't get caught up.
I'm not licensed or nothing like that. I mean, let's just put that disclaimer out there. But I'm telling you, I know lots of things.
Lots of things. Well, I want to go back to Thanksgiving. I know we're trying to move through this show, but boy, our Thanksgiving was beautiful. I enjoyed our time off, shutting down, and just really spending time with family.
And I'm still caught up in that.
He's still Thanksgiving.
I think I'm gonna be that way until after New Year. I'm gonna stay in holiday mode, you know.
It was really nice. What was the thing that you enjoyed the most about Brother Carter? What did you enjoy most about Thanksgiving?
Fellowship.
Having
family around and hearing the laughter and, you know, seeing people that you love, you know, that you don't often get to see these days. It's not like the old days when I grew up when family was just around all the time. And so everybody's so far away these days that, it's just good to just be able to just have everybody come back together on a happy occasion versus a sad one, like a funeral or something like that. So,
I think what I enjoyed most, and I would agree with you on that. I think what I enjoyed the most was still being able to watch my, who is 87 years young, enjoy herself and still be engaged, and then the grandkids and the great grandkids just really love her, and she's loving on them back.
yeah,
I
that's
think
awesome.
that was just that was probably one of the best Thanksgivings we've had in a long time. I guess now as you get older, you don't take those things for granted. So
Yeah.
I think for me that was great.
That's beautiful.
All right.
How about you
Yeah,
guys?
tell us about y'all Thanksgiving. Jacob, you want to go there?
Sure. It was a smaller Thanksgiving for us, and it normally is because it's kind of spread across Oklahoma and Missouri, and my immediate family's really the only ones here in Texas. But it was good. Just me, my parents, my sister, and her husband, and her new baby girl together. So it was small. Hearing your story kind of made me sad and a little jealous because I recently lost both grandparents on my mother's side, and
it can be a sad occasion, holidays, especially because, like you just said, many of us have lost loved ones that are no longer able to be with us on those beautiful occasions. So I understand.
But it's never goodbye, right?
Yeah,
It's a see you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah.
There you go. See you soon.
So
What
I'm
about
very
you?
thankful for that.
What about you, Kristen?
That's good there, Jacob.
Yeah, what?
My Thanksgiving also good.
What did you do?
I same as Jacob. I went to my extended family, or not my extended family, my immediate family's house, and we just had the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, and there was no drama, so it was
that was key too. There was no drama. That we didn't have any drama.
I feel like when you had the immediate family together, you got some conflicting personalities. Every now and then you have some Thanksgiving drama, but
there was none.
Not this year. We were spared this year.
All right, that's good.
That was a good one. What about you? Because you went, Miss Abigail.
Yes, I went out of town. I went to Arizona to visit my grandparents for the holidays. This was my first time being able to go out of town in years because I worked in retail for so long. So it was kind of nice to be shopping on Black Friday rather than working. And so we got a lot of shopping done. Me and my grandma love to shop. Yes.
So she spoiled you, huh?
Yes, we did a lot of shopping.
All righty then.
So what kind of foods? I'm trying to see if white people and black people have the same types of. What kind of food do the white people eat on Thanksgiving?
I was a little scared because
y'all know Brother Carter over here.
I was a little scared because my grandma, she's cooking the food, right? And I offered to help, and she goes, I don't want any garlic in the mashed potatoes. And I said, why not? And she said that she does that. That's too much flavor for the mashed potatoes. And then she was like,
they keep the vampires away, don't they?
Right. I'm saying, it tastes so good. And then she was saying too, or she was like, I'm about to put the turkey in. I looked at it. That turkey was bald. Nothing on that turkey.
No seasoning.
Not a speck, not a pinch. Nothing.
No salt, no pepper, no
nothing.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Grandma, are you really about to? I'm like, you're not gonna nothing in the pan, not a little broth, nothing. I guess she had put some stuff inside, some stuffing or something. It really didn't taste that bad, but I was a little worried.
Now, how old is Grandma?
I think she said she's about to be 70.
70, so that's not
old.
You can't kick out of the kitchen yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
She's still
really wasn't bad. Once you mix, it wasn't that bad, but I definitely, I personally
so y'all don't like seasoning.
I love seasoning.
You like seasoning.
I love seasoning.
Okay, Brother Carter, why you want to ask?
Abigail different.
She different?
Yeah.
Okay, so ask.
She been touched.
She been touched.
By an angel.
What about Christian? What about yours? Answer this question.
I know what you're thinking because of my complexion. That we don't have any taste, but I thought it was very good. We usually have like the traditional like turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes, mac and cheese with the crust.
Okay.
And pies, a ton of pies.
A ton of pies.
Yeah, I
Pies,
think
yeah.
white people love pies.
Oh yeah, we had like
Pies,
6 or 7.
yeah,
So
pies
I'm
is
not
a
even
big
joking.
thing, huh?
Okay, what, like pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin,
Pumpkin,
coconut cream,
pecan,
Oh, okay.
everything.
So see, Lawrence,
Yeah.
like, what did you have on you?
All of that same thing.
All of see.
The
So we
biggest
all-
difference
we
I've
all the
noticed
same.
culturally, because my girlfriend's black and they have collard greens,
Uh-huh.
and we do more green bean casserole. So that's the biggest difference I noticed. And I
That-
noticed other
that
cultures
is-
usually have more meat
yeah.
options too.
That is one of the, because
Wait,
I never had green bean casserole
It's so
Until
good.
somebody is so messy over here.
until I was in corporate America and I seen it for the first time.
Do y'all somebody commented on here? Wait a minute. Wait, y'all, come on, read that comment. This is too funny.
Denise Kearton said Christian's sister put champagne in the turkey.
That is my beautiful mother. She was with me.
I love it. I love it. Thank
Hello,
you.
Mom.
Hello, Bob. Thank you for we have a special group here. I tell you, I love it. All right, then. Well, y'all know we're getting ready to get. She said, "No, a whole bottle."
The whole
For real?
bottle.
Did she really?
She really is.
And that was good.
Oh, it was banging.
So she like, what you do? You pour it over the top, or you stick the bottle inside?
No, you just don't. You don't cook it the bottle in, and you just pour. You said, "Oh Lord, I'm sorry." This is okay. We're gonna go to. We'll be right back.
This radio station is not responsible for the stuff Mom said.
We're at the top of the hour for the show, and at the top of the hour, before we get going, we always do, Miguel.
We always do our acronym,
Wow.
which our acronym for the day is BLEND.
Hey.
BLEND is our acronym of the day. So that is we're doing our acronyms a little bit differently. Before we were doing definitions for each word, but now, thanks to Jacob, we are kind of doing more of a true acronym. So it's going to be almost like a sentence. Beauty lives everywhere, never disappearing. So our topic for today's show is mixing it up. We're talking about interracial dating. So I think this is a really good acronym to represent, blending people together. Beauty really is everywhere. And, it's okay to, I guess, have preferences and stuff like that. But in reality, you should give everybody a chance when it comes to love and friendship and stuff like that. So our acronym of the day is BLEND.
I actually like that acronym because for me, we all are a blend of everything at this point in our life. So I think I'm excited about the men's perspective on this. So again, your host Val is going to fall back a little bit, and let Brother Carter take the lead on from a man's perspective.
I would appreciate it if you can stay with.
Okay, all right, then I like that. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
If you could, let's do our start of the show. And then, hello, Justin. I see you out there. How you doing this morning, Justin?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
It's
We're
all
doing
right, all
okay.
right.
We're doing. We have, as you can see, we have O'Neill Hudson in the studio today.
Thank you
So
for
we're
having me.
looking
Thank
for a
That's
great
a
conversation.
nephew of Brother Al Hudson,
Brother Carter.
rhythm and blues singer.
And then, of course, we have Christian on set today. He is actually even though he's working, he's actually a guest on the show today. And then we have
Say hello
Jacob.
there, Christian.
What
How
do you
we
have to
doing,
say?
y'all?
All right,
How
all
you
right.
I'm
doing?
excited to be a guest this week.
I tell you, it's gonna be good. And then we have Jacob. For some reason,
Reason.
he loves to talk.
Oh.
No, I just tease it. I'm excited about having this lineup today because we're gonna have a good conversation. And of course, Brother Carter.
Okay.
Brother Carter, what do you think about this conversation we're getting ready to have?
I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing to do. But Brother Al Hudson, I'm talking about O'Neill Hudson.
After we do our intro,
O'Neill Hudson,
yeah.
everybody has said hello, so I want to give my opportunity to just say hello, if you will, to the people.
Okay.
How's it going, everybody? My name is
I
O'Neill.
can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the monotone voice.
He's trying to come over here. He's trying to act like he's
Trying to be all
married right or
modest.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on.
being all
Let's
modest.
here. There you go.
My name is O'Neill Hudson.
Mhm.
I am in up and coming.
Just say hello right now.
Hello. How do you do? Hello to all of y'all out there, all my morning listeners.
Yes. All righty. Are we ready to go with the intro? We're going to come right back. Go ahead.
All right, there we go. Welcome. Hello. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Love and Victory Show. Well, I'm your main man, Brother Carter. I'm your co-host today, and the main focus should be, but that's what we say on every first Saturday of every month is from a male's perspective. But as you guys know, our host Val, she's never short of words. So she's gonna try to maintain herself and stay in the co-host position today, but it didn't work that way all the time. But we love her just the way she is. We just hope she just keep on doing what she's doing. All right, welcome to the show.
All righty then.
On the show today, we have a star cast of individuals. A star cast of individuals. And I'm going to start to my right. Introduce yourself, Mr. O'Neal Hudson is in the building.
Hello, everyone. My name is O'Neal Hudson. I am a beginner, and I love debate. That means I have a lot to learn, that's all.
Okay.
So he said he a beginner, but he loved to debate. He said he's a beginner fighter. So is what he's saying.
Yeah,
so
novice.
All right. Oh. We also have Christian Kearton.
Kearton, you're close.
Kearton, okay. Christian is also going to be on the. He's one of the stars on the show as well today. So Christian, introduce yourself. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Christian, and I'm a member of the production team at the Love and Victory Show with Val.
All right.
And I'm usually behind the scenes, but this week I figured I'll join y'all in front of the camera.
All right. And we good to see you there. Good to see you.
We're excited.
We also have one of our very own, Brother Jacob is in the building. Jacob is, I always talk about Jacob because, he's one of the main characters in the Bible. So
Right. Yeah. Been around a while.
Yeah. He's been around for thousands of years. Introduce yourself. Tell the people about yourself, Jeff.
Well, in addition to my biblical exploits, you might remember me from such great vines as the white supremacist teacher. Huh? That was fun. You guys remember that one?
Yes.
But yes,
I hope we're not mixing it up with some white supremacy stuff going on.
Oh, that was a couple weeks ago.
When he did the current event that had us all going.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like to stir the pot.
Yeah.
But I'm a radio and podcast intern.
Mm-hmm.
First time sitting in the guest chair, and I am really excited about this topic today.
All right. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome to the team also. We also have on the star of our show on every first Saturday. We have this guy that come on every Saturday. I want him in studio one day. Well, hopefully we can have him in studio one day, but we have him virtually every Saturday. Brother Justin B. Long. Justin, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, everybody. I am fantastic. I'm excited to be here. And I am Justin B. Long. I am a world-renowned by several people author and podcast host, and a grateful recurring guest on the Love and Victory Show. And I'm excited to be here today.
Oh, we're sure glad to have you. Okay. Our host Val has turned all the mics up real loud. So
I wanted to hear Justin.
Okay, but I think I hear a lot of air. I hear everything. I can hear people when they move. If you scratch, I can hear you right now.
Okay.
So welcome to the team, everyone. Our host Val.
Yes.
You got anything you want to say?
I'm just excited. Honestly, what I am excited about this is because obviously I have interracial dating in my family and marriage from my children. So this is a conversation that I am excited to have and open to have. So the Love and Victory Show with Val, we will go there. I think that we change the world by being willing to open our ears and have a conversation. So this morning we'll have a conversation. And one of the things that I love most, there is no judgment. We will not judge you because you have a different perspective. I think that, again, being honest, being truthful and being respectful is the way we all can grow. So, all right, Brother Carter, and it is now it's on you.
So we're talking about mixing it up,
Mixing it up.
mixing up different kinds of people, and it shouldn't be a strange thing, in my opinion, in 2022. You know, with multiple people doing mixing it up.
I see. I'm okay. I said I was gonna try to be quiet,
Go ahead.
but I think that I'm gonna say, let's just call it what it is. And I think that when we keep saying mix, let's just go ahead. When blacks are dating Caucasians, or Caucasians are dating African Americans or Hispanics or whatever, we're gonna go there because I think, especially for our generation, and one of the reasons why I love to have the younger generation, because so many times our generations are uncomfortable having conversations, or they don't want to have that conversation, or their conversation, when they do have it, they have it from such a guarded place, based off of tradition or what they think is best. So I want to go there and have a conversation and call it like it is. Justin, what do you think about that? And I'm gonna throw this question at Justin first.
Hang on a second. I have a question.
Sorry. Sure, go ahead.
I have a question. Can we establish some terminology before we get started?
Sure.
I need to know, should I say African American woman or black woman, or what is the appropriate way for me to use that in this conversation?
Fair. You can use African American or you can use black. Neither one is offensive in any way.
Okay, thank you. Now, what was your question?
Okay. Do you think dating preferences are valid? Are they racist? Having a preference.
Oh, I don't think there's anything racist about having a preference. I do think that it's important to acknowledge that as human beings, we are preferentially tribal by nature. Like, we are always going to, unless we think about it and override that, we're going to default to people who look like us and have a similar background and similar experiences to us. So that's not necessarily a bad thing in the fact that it's human nature, but I think in order to be an evolved, free human being who thinks and makes decisions and rises above the primordial ooze, that it's important to be more open-minded and willing to step outside of the tribe.
Yes, and you was started off just right. So I'm going to bring that in studio, and I'm going to go with Mr. O'Neill. Since you are the guest, I started with Justin. I'm going to go with you. Could you answer that same question?
Would you mind asking?
I sure will. Do you think dating preferences are valid, or are they racist?
I absolutely reject the idea that they're racist.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only fair to. I'm sorry, I won't go too deep.
Well, you can go.
Honestly, I think people should be given the right to love who they want to love, regardless of how they look, where they come from, what their background is. I think if there's love, if there's action, if there's consent, should be allowed.
Okay, 100%. That's all righty.
And that's kind of where I was going before you abruptly jumped in to the conversation.
She made it almost 30 seconds today.
I was,
you know what? Stay on the
African's perspective.
Because I want to say this is deeper than just black and white. It is male and female and female. All these different blends take place today, and so I don't want to just I hope this won't just be a black and white conversation,
right?
You know, so that it'll be a more broader.
I like that. So you want to go there this morning?
I mean, it's here.
It sure is.
But I think, if I may interrupt,
no, that's why we do. That's what we do on Love.
Look, I didn't want to.
We just jump in there. When thought come in, you get in there. When you have a thought, you better win it.
Sure. I think in Miss Val's defense, I think
don't be careful.
It's common. So when I feel like when interracial dating is brought up, most people are talking about black and black. I feel like that's the around that conversation.
Or white and blank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure, but of course it's much more than that, right? Like, so if you're in Houston, Houston is one of the most diverse cities in the country. So you have a higher propensity to hook up or be with someone from many different races aside from just white. So
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. But when people talk, I feel like they're talking about black and blank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, it's not in the definition. It's not in interracial. Like interracial is one and another.
And would I be wrong if I said the white and black relationship feels like the most polarizing to most people for some reason?
Well,
like,
why is that?
I would agree.
Just say why.
It's all of it's history of tension between races since this country, before it was a country, right? Like if you saw, a woman and an Asian man, a Korean man, I don't know how many people would be like, oh my God.
Well, I think what you think that it's probably it caused so much tension because we're going back to slavery and how so many going there, I go there. So because so many women were violated by their slave
I definitely think that's part of it.
Everything, and then of course, African American women were seen as property versus as human beings. Then when you see them dating and you're looking with a white man or a white male with a black woman, it's like, is it really love? You get what I'm saying? Do you think that's part of it?
I absolutely. I think you can't escape it. I mean, that is just so part of our DNA, and people would white people would love to say, "Come on, that was hundreds of years ago. Like, aren't we past slavery yet?" And like in the grand scheme of humanity, that was so recent.
Yes,
it was not long ago at all. And for us to just, I mean, a lot of us, like our parents and grandparents had relatives that they knew growing up that were slaves,
right,
or recent or freed.
Yeah.
So yes, I think definitely that's something we're going to deal with for a long time. I think people are going to ask about like a certain power imbalance within a certain relationship like that. I think it's just natural. And I know Mr. Long was trying to butt in there for a second.
Go ahead, Justin.
No, I'm just agreeing 1,000%. There's so many people, as we've learned in the last presidency, there's so many people in this country, white people, that still feel the exact same way as their grandparents and great grandparents did 100 years ago. That I think that's what makes it way more of a big deal for black versus white, because that's the center of the racial tension and problems in America. Is there's like, yes, slavery itself was abolished in 1869 or whatever it was, but the hard feelings and biases are still very much alive today. And I think to not acknowledge that is a disservice to everybody.
And I agree with you. And I think just kind of skating around it really is not going to do this conversation the justice that we owe our audience to do. We want to make sure we go there. I see Abigail wants to jump in on
I just wanted to because and perspective, because we were talking about like how recent, a lot of like changes, race relations in our country and stuff. Loving Virginia is the court case. Loving versus Virginia, the court case that ruled laws against interracial marriage like to be against the Equal Protection Clause. That was passed in 1967.
Yeah.
So just recently, within the past century, and we all know that those laws were preventing white people from dating black people, and it wasn't about Asians. It was about white people and black people. Yes. And so
definitely,
that's kind of, but in perspective too, grandparents were born before then. I mean, they grew up with those of ideas and stuff too. So it's kind of a newer
when we
thing.
were born.
And when those laws were abolished, you can be sure they were controversial.
Yes.
And it took a long time for culture to shift after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Still a long way.
Still controversial today.
Brother Carter was in his 50s in 1967.
Thank you.
Tell him, Justin. Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'm just wondering if there's any valid arguments against interracial dating or interracial marriage.
Well, how could it be valid? And I like, let me tell you, we got a debater on here. So I know when you throw a fireball in like that, you throw me in. So I love it.
No, I don't want to do any traps or gotcha.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't think that it should be. However, it goes, to me, it always goes back to one's mind and their experience. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Everybody tend to, as Justin said earlier, want their tribe, or what they're used to, who's around them. But for me, it shouldn't be.
So, one thing that I think about when I think about your partners, I'm single. Right? I've been single for I'll say around a year. I grew up with a family who preferred that I would be with, marry, have a family, create a family with a Black woman.
For sure.
This makes sense to me, even more today,
Yes.
right? But I still feel like there's a natural part of me that wants to just enjoy who's in front of me, enjoy who I click with, and not turn away from them just because they're my skin color. I feel like that in itself is a bit.
If I can be honest, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If I can be honest, I think when I was younger, and of course much younger because that's what I grew up with, even though my parents always taught me to love and treat everybody the same. I think the natural, I'm almost, so the natural that I was,
It's a young 60s.
stay in your race, stay in your race, stay in your race. And I think as I became a mother and a young adult going into motherhood, I started to see things different. My husband had a lot to do with that because it was never about the color of the skin that my parents were trying to teach me. They were teaching me to respect myself and honor myself, at the same time love everybody. So my eyes started to open because my kids, as they got to dating, they just busted wide open. So we had to learn to evolve with that. And out of that, we have some beautiful grandchildren, beautiful. So just, I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
You have to say on that,
It's
Lawrence.
a good thing you have never closed that.
Yeah.
I growing up in the 60s like I did, when I was a young kid at the time, there was separation at that point. Where whites went to their own school, blacks went to their own school. So there was no interaction at that time. And shortly after I was in school, they broke that segregation thing and started populating everyone in the same schools, which was a difficult time at the time. Growing up in the late 60s, early 70s, there was always controversy with the blacks and whites because we've been so separated for so many years.
We had that problem at my school.
About that time, everybody it was integrated, and so it depends on the individual, I believe, and what that individual is taught at home. It's about what you're taught at home because I was never taught to, hate my Caucasian brothers and sisters. Actually, my first love when I was in like the third grade happened to be a Caucasian girl.
I thought I was your first love.
I didn't know you in the third.
All right.
Not first love, but first crush.
Okay.
I said. Yeah, first crush was
Kind of hot in here.
Yeah.
Did she feel the same?
Yeah, we were really nice to each other. Yes.
You guys went steady.
Yes.
You gave me your pencil.
Yes.
Y'all had pencil?
We walked home from school and everything together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And did your parents say anything? Did they know about it?
It wasn't like, we were using like
Innocent,
grade,
right?
And yeah, so it wasn't like, come on, meet my parents. It wasn't
right?
like that,
It was like a puppy love kind
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So
That is beautiful.
Yeah. So my question would be, when did you first realize it's okay to have
as an individual?
Yes, as an individual. So I'll start with you, Jacob.
When did I realize it was
Maybe
okay?
you don't date anybody but Caucasian.
Actually,
let's start right here.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with come on?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And so throughout adult life, I have been a big relationship person. Having said that,
He's got no game.
I've had none whatsoever.
They don't cut up in here.
I had to get really into stamps and board games.
Okay.
So, but I would say my most serious relation that I got out of fairly recently, I was with a South American woman for 5+ years, and by all that was the woman I wanted to marry and start a family with and grow old with and
She
die
broke
with.
your heart, didn't she?
I mean, it was a hard thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you. And I'm not over it. I don't know if I'll ever be over it. When I first realized that is obviously, I think like everyone here, my parents raised to treat everyone with respect, treat everyone equally, love everyone
until they burn your bank account.
Right, like they were a brother in Christ, right? But I would be lying if I didn't say I felt some hesitation from them in junior high when they learned that I had a crush on a black student of mine, a black classmate, I should say. And I think some of that stems from their time period, how our culture viewed interracial children. Right. You had kids that were half black, half white, half Hispanic, half Asian. Kind of had a foot in each group, but never really felt like they belonged to either one. And I think my parents were very worried. And even though it was a thing, it was a 6th, 7th grade thing that I feel like they probably overreacted to. Basically, what happened was I had drawn hearts over her picture in the yearbook. And, my dad found it and wanted to have a conversation. Yeah. It's like, Jacob, now I think it's great you're friends with this girl, but
I don't want no black children coming around here, boy.
I appreciate that honesty that you shared about your parents, because I do think that does play a lot into children as they grow up, deciding to either date outside of their race or even be open enough with their parents to say, this is someone, I don't understand the feeling I'm having, but this is someone that I'm interested in. What's your position on that?
No, yeah. My family has never had an issue with it. They had never tried to, push me one way or the other. But I do know a very religious family, like with Christianity, and
so they named you Christian.
Exactly.
Sure, your mom did a good job.
I think the other side of mixing it up, besides the racial part of it, is also the religious part of it. Like you do have couples that are, Christian and Jewish, Muslim, and things like that. But I think that ultimately comes down to, culturally, like, can you understand where they are coming from? Like, if you decide you want to have children, like, how are you going to raise them? And those kind of things are things that you need to agree on before you start dating. And like, especially with religion, that can get in the way of your overall, like, your values and your virtue, things like that. But when it comes to race too, I think the big critics of interracial dating, besides like bigots, would be like, people who are like, do they understand my culture? You know what I mean? Like, are they dating me because they like the way I look or anything like that? Or are they dating me because we have an understanding?
Have you ever dated outside of your race?
All the time.
Exclusively outside of your race.
So, I think Justin B. Long kind of grew up out in the woods somewhere, and as a young lad, cutting up, chopping wood, and so he may have a different perspective of growing up as a as a white guy, and I don't know, were there many blacks in your neighborhood and when you grew up there, Justin?
I had one black kid in my high school class, and she was a foreign exchange student from Africa. and when I was in
Wow.
Wyoming.
There you
So
go.
I had almost
No.
no exposure to that. Now, when I was in elementary school in Oklahoma, there were 2 black kids in my class, and one of them was raised by white parents, and she didn't really have what you would call black culture because she'd never been exposed to that. So I hadn't been exposed to that, and I went into young adulthood uh, with a very different perspective on race than I have now, obviously. But I went through a phase of being the bigoted guy who was non-accepting of anybody who didn't look like me and have the same sexual orientation as me and the same religion and the same beliefs. And I was in my 30s before I realized that A, that's ridiculous, and B, I'm cutting myself out of half of the population of potential partners out there. And when I got single when I was 33 after a 12-year relationship, and I at that point I got sober and I was really examining all of my beliefs and rejecting a lot of things that I'd spent most of my life believing to be true. And interracial relationships was one of those things that I had to examine and overcome. And I did date 2 black women during that time, and it was both of them were not right for
At
me,
the
but it
same
was
time.
fantastic. No, during that period of me being single, not at the same time.
Okay. And that, how did that affect your family or even some of your friends? What was that dynamic like?
It was very challenging for my friends. I think that it was, I was still removing myself from my old circle of people that I spent time with, and developing new relationships with people who didn't have those old mindsets. So I think it was very challenging for some of those, and I caught a lot of flack for it at work. But
Interesting.
I'm glad that I had enough sense of self to defend that and not just cave to peer pressure of just abandoning that so that I wouldn't get made fun of, because there's so much of that out there. And I was in coastal Georgia at the time, and it's just like Alabama and Florida and everywhere else in the deep South, that there's an awful lot of negative mindsets about that you're faced with every day. So I think if you're going to put your toes into this water, you got to know that you're going to get some heat for it and be okay with that, and recognize that that's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of the people that are giving you flack.
So that's why we love you here at the Love and Victory Show, Justin, because we know your background, we know where you came from, and we see the adjustment you have made in your life. And yeah, it's greatly appreciate that you're open and honest about, not only who you were, but who you are as an individual. So we really, really, really appreciate that on the Love and Victory Show with Val.
I have a question. Okay, I want to throw this out here. By dating outside of your ethnicity, are you watering down your culture? Do you think you're watering down your culture? What compromises are made when dating someone other than your race? Do you feel like you are compromising?
Do you
That's
feel like you're
challenging.
watering down your culture?
Yeah.
First question, or should I say a part of the question?
I feel like I would be a hypocrite to say yes. Um, I think that's gonna happen. What do we mean by watered down?
No, it's just a straight question. See,
Okay,
can
okay.
I tell you something?
Yeah.
On the Love and Victory Show, we don't try to do say answers because
Right.
I'm
Okay.
a sniff it out, and then we're gonna be like, straight. How do you feel about it?
Okay. No. I
Because
think
some people,
so.
I
Yes.
believe some people would feel like they watering it down
Right.
because like this. I have to keep this a secret right now because I can't bring Abigail to my mom's house right now for Thanksgiving and for the Thanksgiving family reunion. It's not gonna go well right now, and so that's kind of a
Right.
way that I feel like that's kind of watering it down your
something.
culture
Okay.
because it's like an embarrassment, should I say?
Yeah,
should I
or
say.
you don't know how they're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking as a white person, my culture is water.
Mm.
So if I were to date outside of my race, I'm kind of make my
What Jacob's saying, like, being an American is kind of like, like you don't really have that connection that you used to have with the culture, like where your family came from originally,
Mhm.
like especially if you're white.
I think it has to do with your. And please jump in here, Justin, because I think it has to do with generation. Because your generation of people are just like, hey, I'm doing it, and you kind of like I said, my kids them hit the scene. It's like this is who we are.
Our generation
It's
is
just like,
rebelling.
y'all call it
rebelling against the nation.
Yeah, you guys are going to just go there, and I applaud you for that. And I always say that that's good that you go there, but just be respectful when you go there to the seniors. But I love
Right.
that y'all just you guys are forcing us to be.
So for me,
Wait, hang on, I'm going to interrupt you.
Go for it.
Okay, so I think there's many layers to this. There's many variables to this, right? If we look at music culture for one, right? Hip hop. You can look left and right on the internet. In real life, you can find people, non-black people, listening to hip hop music. Okay?
Yeah.
I feel like it waters down the culture of hip hop, kind of bleeds over into black culture. I feel like it waters down the culture when you have other cultures listening to hip hop and they like clearly don't know the lyrics or this they turn it on for fad. Like they know this one song because everybody's listening to it, but they have no idea about anything else, right? Like I feel like that's watering down the culture. There's not much engagement. You're just there for clout or whatever it is. I'm not a fan of that.
So you think
I want to piggyback on that.
Okay, go ahead, Jen. Go ahead.
Well, first off, I would say that I am a massive consumer of hip hop, but I think
Clearly,
yeah, the primary consumers of hip hop are middle-aged white men, and you can tell that by the advertisements on the channels that play them. But I like old school stuff, just to be clear, not today's stuff. But anyway, I think a lot of the concerns about watering down culture happen when say a black man and a white woman come together. There's an assumption that one of those people is going to give up their culture and become like the other one. So and I think this happens a lot. You see, the typical heavyset white girl that starts trying to speak like she was raised in the hood. And that's obviously not who she was. And everybody that's known her all their life knows that that's not who she is. She's trying to be something that she's not. And she's sacrificing all of her own stuff to try to blend in to her husband's culture. And that's, I think the family's fear is that you're going to abandon who you are and you're going to drag us down with you into becoming someone who we're not. And, it's ridiculous, but until you examine it, it's
Right.
a knee-jerk reaction.
That's a real go ahead.
That's a debate.
That's my nickname is. I really I don't have a strong point of contention on that note.
I did ask you about kind of something that belongs to you in this hip hop, and I'm wondering, is there a difference between a watering down of a individual culture and a pure mixing of two different cultures?
Right.
So could you not view it as perhaps sharing your culture with other ethnic groups?
Absolutely. So to finish, yeah, to finish on my my first point, on the opposite end of that, it's almost liberating to see other cultures rapping these lyrics like word for word, right? They don't have to necessarily know what they mean, but if you know the lyrics word for word, it shows that you have the time to invest into another culture's music. I experience the same thing when it comes to like salsa music, right? If a salsa song comes, I might not know a single lick of the lyrics, right? Because it's just, but I've heard it so many times. I've like rehearsed the dance and stuff. Like they appreciate that I took the time to learn their culture. So when the opposite happens, I feel like that's watering down.
Well, I'm gonna jump in on this because hip hop has become like a universal culture.
Yes.
And it's not a black culture. I've been all over the world pretty much. been to.
It is popular
Europe,
culture.
Yes, it's very, very been everywhere except for like Asia or something like China or somewhere. But you hear hip hop everywhere you go, everywhere, every culture, uh, whether you white, black, Hispanic, Asian American, whatever, Indian, everyone is culturally attached to hip hop, and so I don't think that's something that's watered down. I think it's something to be applauded, but at the same time, it can be damaging.
Well, I think
for an individual is.
I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying on that part. I don't think it's necessarily watered down. I think it's that if you're going what you're saying, if you're going to partake, take the time to understand the culture. So if you're going to go and date, bring it back to our dating and everything that we're talking about, if you're going to date someone outside race, don't just do it as a fad. Understand the culture and be respectful of the culture as it is for me. If I was dating outside, I have to understand your race, be respectful to your race, and then we can go because you guys are going to have your challenges. When you bring kids in, and if you're just coming from one perspective, if you're just coming from your culture, you'll never understand that other person.
And it'll never work.
It's not going to work. So that's kind of taking that even from rap music. If you're going to the music, understand the artist, understand the words in which they are talking about, because most of the time they're talking from their experience in their community. It means more to it. And then, of course,
Well, a lot of times hip hop just sells. Hip hop is just like sex and violence, and
some of it
just sells.
Some of it.
Well,
I don't think it's all of it.
I'm just saying that sells, and so a lot of these raps and stuff of that nature do not live anywhere in no neighborhood that they're speaking about.
Right.
I have one more point on that, though.
I'm sorry. What were you saying, Jim?
I think that it's important to recognize that hip hop has been the primary source of education for white people about the Black experience. I learned so much of what I know from KRS-One and Black Thought and Mobb Deep and all of these people who they're not the Tupac and the Snoop Dogg Flash guys, but they're the ones who are really talking about that experience that I have never, ever been anywhere close to in my life. So I think, in that respect, if it wasn't for hip hop, because I certainly didn't get it off of Family Matters or anything from that. Like, there's no other way for me to have any exposure to what Black culture really is.
I agree, and I think what we have to also be with is that we're not, and I think it's more so in the Black race that people outside your race is viewing you based off of either TV shows, songs, or Instagram you posting up, and so that's how they're viewing us more so than the other race. And since I'm throwing that out there, I'm going to ask you guys. I know it's from man's perspective.
No.
But why?
Hip yourself.
Why is that?
I think that's a great question. And this is, and maybe I'm kind of going off topic from interracial dating.
That's okay.
But when we were doing Through the Grapevine earlier, Brother Carter was talking about Deshaun Watson and how he just hates seeing when, a Black man had kind of climbed to the top and he's being taken down. And that is because Black celebrities are seen as being the representation for the entirety of the race more than any of us, and I don't know why. Okay. So for whatever reason, whether it's Barack Obama, Reverend Al Sharpton, or famous athletes, I think Black people feel a lot of pressure for these individuals to write, to succeed, and to continue to succeed, because they feel like they're going to have to answer for them when bad things happen.
That goes back to
this is from a white guy's perspective,
and I think that goes.
Am I wrong?
No, and that goes back to slavery. because it even just coming out of slavery, and as a mother, when we tell our sons, be careful when you go out there, make sure that you don't have a lot of people in the car, it's different things. It's almost like it's prepping our children and our loved ones to be safe and act a certain way because they're going to already be judged.
Right.
And so I
Exactly.
totally understand.
And there's a certain level of truth to what you're saying
Mhm.
there. As when you see your blacks elevating in life, that give you a sense of pride.
Yes.
Because there's so much negative come out of our race, from
That they show, because there's a lot of positive.
Yeah. So when you have something positive, yeah, we do have a certain level of pride that take place with that, and there's a certain level of fenceness that take place when we see the Caucasian man, because it's normally the black man that's trying to take him down versus all the black woman.
Right.
So
Yes.
So yes, but
No, when the next white quarterback makes it onto the scene, there is not a segment of the population that is rooting for him to fail and going to pounce on every opportunity to take him down.
Right.
And the same is not true for the next black celebrity.
That's exactly right. And taking that along the lines of, I think we have, and I'll get off of the football because I don't know which team it is, but there was an ex-football player that was like high profile that was taking funds. And
Brett Favre.
yes, was taking funds and had been going on for a while, like a nonprofit or something. He was using it for his own personal gain. What do? You told the story one time, and you one or two times, and you move on. Then, when there is someone of color that has done something or alleged to have done something, it is looped on the airwaves.
Mhm.
So that for me, so I understand exactly what you're saying. Okay. All right, Brother Carter, it's your show.
All right, I think it's time to take a pause for the calls.
And
Right?
we'll come right on back.
All right. And welcome back to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Wow, we're talking about mixing it up, interracial relationships. We're talking about the ethnicities, being racist, being biracial, and all the different things that take place in the world today. But I think we didn't never get to part B of your question that you asked earlier about compromises that are made dating someone outside of your race.
Okay, look at Gail. Abigail want to take on that first. Go ahead, Abigail.
I just want to just really quick, I know this is in this episode, but we were talking about when kids and wed come into the play. There's dating, right? And there's not so many that you have to make in that, maybe some little day-to-day stuff. But I just watched Love is Blind, and this guy, he was Nigerian, and he married a woman who wasn't Nigerian. And it was very, very important to him that he, kept his Nigerian culture. And so they incorporated Nigerian kind of portions to the wedding, but then they also had, Americanized wedding of it too, which is a great way to blend cultures. But I can see why that might be watering down your culture or compromising it, because then, someone from the American side, if a distant family member comes, and how they now they say, well, I've been to a Nigerian wedding. No, you didn't. You went to a Nigerian American wedding. You know what I mean? So I think it waters it down in the sense that, people aren't getting the full experience of it, and some people are okay with that, and some people aren't.
Should you have gotten it, because we're going back to the dating and the couples, but shouldn't that experience happen before the wedding?
Oh, totally.
You understand what I'm saying? So for me, someone attending the wedding, you're just attending out of respect for the people that you love. But I think that it goes back, it's much more important for the individuals in that relationship to experience and understand and be a part of culture before that day happens.
Right. Yeah.
I like that.
I think there's a lot of things you have to consider when you're in a mixed relationship. I mean, growing up, for instance, argument.
Yeah.
You have an argument, and black man, white woman, black man. The N word, additional word. So
that's why they call it.
How did it happens? when it comes to an argument, I'm always thinking about things like this. Okay, we get into an argument and she say the N-word to me. Wow. How is that going to spin in my head at the time?
Is she black?
No.
He
She's
said if he's
Caucasian.
dating,
I'm black.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm black. She's white. We get into the argument. And she called me, you.
Right. And
so
we have a problem.
Yeah.
we have a
Houston,
huge problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
And I know I'm not the authority on this question, so I'll just get my 2 cents out there and then kind of sit back. But I think the first thing in your mind is, okay, is that something she's been sitting on for a long time? Something she's thought about me this entire time and now feels like this is now the time to say it? Or is she just looking for the one word, the worst word she possibly say because she wants to hurt you that bad? And I there isn't an equivalent of that word. But if you were talking to a white woman, the C word is the biggest word you could use against them. But that word has no equal.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 questions that would go through my head.
This would be one of my biggest concerns. What I'm saying, it's not actually a question, but it just become one of my biggest concerns in a relation, dating.
Well, I think if she's saying that, or he's saying that, that's not something that just came up. That's something that's a belief. That's something that they felt.
Feel that
It's
deep
been
down.
there for a while. Even before the
I think we were talking about hip hop earlier, right?
Yeah.
I think something happened here. Did you turn down something over there? Or something?
No, I hear you.
And so I think hip hop has made it almost okay to say the word in a certain sense.
Well, they think it's okay.
Yeah, they think it's okay. It's different.
Yeah.
They made it like it's almost okay to say the word because it's the lyrics and everybody's is hip hop and culturally vibing.
But I
and
think
so,
babe,
I want to finish my thought, honey. Right. And because I've seen this take place when I used to play ball out in the playgrounds out there, and I see the Caucasian kids and the black kids, they playing on the same team or whatever,
working on our layups and
they
shots.
saying the word like it's nothing, And I'm like,
but I think that's different from saying the words like that versus being into a heated argument with your mate and someone that's supposed to care about you, and they pull that word out. I think that's a different.
I don't think it's no different than you and I having an argument.
But it is.
No, I think so. Because you're gonna, if you hurting as an individual, you want to find the worst thing you can say to me to hurt me.
But it's different if I say it than versus.
I ain't talking about just the N-word.
Okay, I know, but we're talking about the N-word. You brought that up. Can you not go all
He brought it up.
You brought it up. Yeah. So we talking about the N-word.
Now he's trying to pivot.
Yeah.
Hey,
thank you.
Jake, sit down over there.
Yeah, we're talking about the N-word. So the N-word, if I say it to you as an African American man, it's different.
It has no weight. Right.
Jacob, if Jacob says it to me, who is a Caucasian or a Christian who is a Caucasian male, said to me, it has a much deeper, or even Justin, it has a much deeper effect.
It had a lot of weight on it.
Not weight, just a different effect, because the weight comes from me accepting that.
Right.
Accepting, because if I'm in a relationship with you and you go there, that relationship is over, because that's something that you have deep in you, and that's to believe how you feel. Or I just think that those are some unresolved issues that's going to come out worse. So, Justin, can you give me your opinion on that?
I think that early in the relationship, like if it's say the hip hop culture has made it okay, and in your relationship you both accept that word gets used, that's one thing. But if you establish that word can never be used and that's off limits, then that's a whole different situation, right? So, but if you've never had that conversation in the relationship and nobody really knows what the rules are because we haven't established rules, then you've made a mistake, and you need to backtrack and decide.
I'm pushing back on you, Justin. I'm really pushing back on that because I can't understand why an established rule to say something that is so vile, degrading, and disrespectful.
I agree.
So I don't think that I need to have a pre-conversation with anyone for them to know, please don't say the N-word to me.
Let's say you guys are headed to your first date and the music is on the radio and you're both singing along with it and that word comes into play.
Well, okay.
And context matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. That's different.
Well,
I can go with that. But okay.
No, yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I think it goes back to what O'Neill was saying earlier, where hip hop started out as like something that came up out of the black culture, and those weren't necessarily making music for white people; they were making music for themselves. And now that it's become so big, white people are listeners to this, and it's almost like a weird thing where it's like you want to sing these lyrics, but like
get to a certain word.
If you say that word, the context becomes different because you're white.
Yes. And there are some people that no matter the context,
jump in right after you.
Please. And there are some people that no matter the context, even if it's a soft A in a rap song, it's off limits for white people no matter what. And I completely respect that. But I think we all understand the difference between singing a song in the car, listening to the radio, a soft A, and then a hard in an argument, which is never, ever, ever acceptable, no matter what that person did.
And that's my position, because you can't take it from and I respect that, Justin, what you're saying about singing the song and getting caught up on that part. However, I think it's kind of like me calling I'm in a relationship with you and I call you a cracker. You get what I'm saying?
But it doesn't have the same weight.
Nothing comes close.
Right. It's kind of like singing
because
the song.
like that's like you're talking oppressor. You know? Like versus like the N word is like a derogatory.
Right. It's like the A-bomb and a grenade.
Dehumanizing this person.
Exactly. And so that the whole purpose of someone saying that word, especially in a heated argument, is to make you feel less than like the lowest of
they are dehumanizing you.
Yeah. Exactly. So okay.
Wow. So let's
go ahead.
I'll make it quick, I promise. So I asked my grandma this once. How do you feel about non-black people using the N-word? And she told me straight up, it's offensive. It's a word that's been used in my family. Never in like a demeaning way towards anybody. Right. It's just a part of discourse. In the end, the way I feel about it is if you're rapping lyrics to a song and that word pops up, if you're around me or if I'm around you when you drop that word, it's gonna make me feel uncomfortable.
And you're gonna have a conversation, right? Like you're gonna say, you probably know.
You know what?
But
for me, sometimes you don't want to have that conversation.
Right? No, it's not. That is not your responsibility.
That's the position that I take. Right. So I feel like I can't control anybody other than myself. To go even further, if I wanted to control you, like I can't control everybody, right? Like I'll wear myself out. So where I stand with it, if you're rapping music, and you're around me, I'm not gonna stop you. It's gonna make me cringe, but if you're in private, I don't care what variation of the word that you use. Soft A, hard R, don't care. Doesn't
in the
bother
car.
Me. Well, no, hold on. But once you come around black people and you decide you just know that those will have consequences. I feel like people know the difference.
If you're in a car with your parents, and when I was growing up, they didn't have a lot of cuss words and lyrics. But when a cuss word come up, you down, like the Isaac Brothers had this song. And when you get to that part where it's you get to that, you just didn't say it. Because you was in front of your parents and thinking that the use of the word in your defense should be treated as that. It's like just a certain level of respect you should have depending on your audience. Right. And I'm gonna end the conversation on that by saying this about the N word. It's not really about us as black people anymore. I mean, N words. If you think about the word and what it means, they cut fashions of people today. And when I was looking at January the 6th insurrection that took place at the Capitol, and I can't imagine us as black people acting like those N crawl on top of like
Yes,
real
like
animals.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, these were some real N words right here.
Okay.
You said we were moving on? Okay, wait, but before we do move on, from the not necessarily the N-word topic, but just like before you had mentioned, talking about white people coming into that space in hip hop, like how do you feel about not necessarily white people listening to hip hop, but white people rapping, white people making hip hop music? Like Eminem came up in like the 90s, the early aughts or whatever, and he had like a meteoric rise. Now all of a sudden you have the white kids that are like, oh, like hip hop is awesome, and do you have uncomfortable feelings about that?
No.
Or?
So it's a really good question.
Our culture been stolen from forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
rock and roll.
Down to the.
Do you view it as appropriation, or do you think that white people can just have?
I think it's turning into that today, but I think we have many examples of white rappers that can be successful in the space of hip hop. Eminem happens to be one of them, and in fact, Eminem has actually dropped the N-word one time in a song, and it wasn't even a song. It was on 50 Cent's album, Get Rich or Die Trying. But nobody blinks at that, right? Because like that's like the one, and he really doesn't even use it in his music. To answer your question, I don't have a problem with white people in the space of hip hop. I do have a problem with appropriation. So like for like certain artists that get thrown in that are that are like juiced by these damn, I'm drawing blanks. They're fueled by um, these record labels, it's almost created, right?
Right.
Certain people like major, like real hip hop heads like myself, I can tell when it's not genuine. I can tell when you just came out of nowhere, someone handed you a sheet of paper, sit, read, and because they've listened to hip hop for a long, kind of sounds genuine. I think we know the difference, but I don't want to discourage anyone from embracing this art form because it's really about expression, freedom, and the struggle. So, struggle isn't unique to
Well
any
said.
one race.
Sorry, Brother Carter.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to move on just yet from that because I want to move on because we're talking about interracial dating, and when you're dating someone, please, before you're deciding to step out into another culture, get to know that culture. And if you have those types of words, if you're dating someone that is of color, just know that it's like we said earlier, it's never okay to use those words. And there is no other word in the dictionary that is more vile and more to a human race than that N word. So for me, yes, we as African Americans, blacks, need to also take responsibility for continuing to peddle that word out there, even in the rap or even in conversation, because we so casually do it. But I'm going to say for someone outside of the color, our race, to use that word, it is at any level, it's very degrading. It's very demeaning. And it may make me take a step back and kind of look at you to really try to figure out. So is this the person that I thought it was?
Yeah.
So if you're dating, just make sure checking that out. Okay, I'm on. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is interesting conversation though. So when you're speaking, if Jacob is speaking the Christian and call him the N word,
Well,
I mean
I
that's
lose
my
my
N
mind.
word
that's
right
that.
there.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it depends on the. First I said, this a bad word. Period. Period. But let's be honest. That word is not going anywhere. It's not going away. Nowhere near. And so when I think of the word, I think of, of a people, not as a black people. I think of a way people act that makes them
Ignorant.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing things that are
I get what you're saying.
yeah. Like
But
I gave you the example of the people at the White House. You know that's when you can say okay.
I
Those,
know that, and I agree with you on that. But however, when people individually are using those words, that
Mhm.
word, it is much different. That's how you view it. I get it. But when you have someone that's in the belly of who they are saying to me, and I'm dating, we're in a relationship, and you use the N word, I'm sorry.
yeah, if he use it direct to you, then that's a
Or
this
if you're
thing
sitting
is just
around with
stab.
a
Yeah.
different race and you know you're over here dating someone of color and you're partaking or you're even whether you get or not, but you know someone in that group is talking ill about that race or calling using that N word and you don't stand up for it, that still speaks to who you are and your character. Have you guys ever been in that situation since you date outside of your race? I'll come to you, Christian.
Wait, what
Have you
situation?
ever been in a have you ever been in a situation where someone that's in your race that was speaking derogatory toward someone of color or someone outside of your race?
Yeah, I think when I was in like elementary school and middle school, I
Mhm.
remember the whole thing was like, like racist jokes were still kind of like
Mhm.
a thing that people said, like about every race,
Right.
and then like you get a little bit when you realize like, okay, like these jokes aren't just like funny, haha
Yeah.
jokes. Like
Right.
these stereotypes have like real weight that affect how people view an entire race.
Correct.
Like some saying these jokes, but they're not actually joking. Like
They're
a lot of
serious.
times they're gauging your reaction
Mhm.
to see if they can really,
Reel you in.
yeah, or like they can say they're trying to say like what can I say to this guy? Like,
Yes.
does
To
he
get a
think like
reaction.
me?
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
so
Feeling you
I've
out.
had friends that have that have had
Try to do this.
views that were kind of like that.
Then what do you do?
When you're younger, you don't really realize it yet
Well, let's get to
because
you being grown now.
no, but now that you're grown,
Yeah.
you kind of have to just cut them off
So have
because
you had since you've been grown?
I think that once I got like middle school and
Mhm.
into like high school, especially like that, like you start to diversify the sort of people you're hanging out with.
Okay.
Like I would say that when I was in like middle school and elementary school, I mainly had white friends, just
Mhm.
because
That's
same socio economic and everything. And but as I got older, like I would open up more to more different kinds of people, more friends. Like I changed schools to like a school that was more like multicultural and everything. And then you learn these different views and you surround yourself with different people and it helps you like realize like, oh, like wow, back then like I thought this and like that's like totally backwards. Like
Yes.
and I didn't even realize
Mhm.
because I wasn't surrounding myself with these different viewpoints, these different like cultures.
I agree.
So
But
having said that, I want to move to the next question. How difficult is it to the question here, understand the background experience of someone outside of your race? How difficult is that to learn
Oh,
and to adapt or to adjust to that? Since you wrote the question, man.
Yeah, I actually, yes, I did write the question, but I do, you know, there's a lot that you have to kind of like prepare yourself for, I guess. Not in a bad way, but like, for instance, black women are, I don't know the exact number, but black women die in hospitals way more than white women because they're not taken as seriously when it comes to their pain and stuff like that. And in my relationship, I'm dating a black woman. I'm not the type of person like if you're not bleeding, you're fine. Like get over it, you're fine, move on. You know what I mean? So when we first started dating, I kind of wouldn't take her serious. I was like, you know, you're fine. You like just get over it. Like take some Advil, you'll be good. And you know, after kind of more about that, and we had conversations about it, I kind of realized like, you know, that's true. Like, you know, even though it wasn't driven by race or anything like that. You know, I'm contributing to a bigger stigma. I'm contributing to a bigger issue where Black women aren't taken seriously when they're in their safety. 100%. And so I had to make that choice personally to hopefully contribute to a bigger thing.
I like that. That is spot on right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so how difficult is that transition, trying to learn a difference between Black and white?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been difficult at all. Since a young age, I've dated all sorts of different people.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated Black people, I've dated white people, I've dated all Asian people. Like I try to
like Christian. Huh?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't discriminate, and I try to really take the feedback in that moment. Like if I'm being told like, hey, like that's not, you're incorrect about that, or you know, maybe your opinion on that isn't accurate. I try to really take that time to just listen. Mm-hmm. And you know, to answer your question earlier too, how you do when you're in a room and someone says that word. Well, I take in the room. If a white person says that word and there's no other people of color, it's just white people, I would say something. I'd be like, hey, you probably shouldn't say that word. Mm-hmm. But if I'm in a room with other Black people, I almost feel in a way it's not my place. You know what I mean? Like,
it's also embarrassing.
Yeah, you feel embarrassed for that person, and then you're like, well, should I say something? Is it really, it didn't hurt my feelings in that way. You know what I mean? So it's like, should I say something? Nobody else seems to have a problem. So, you know, that can also be a sticky situation in terms of on toes.
And the Black person in that situation should be the one that says,
especially if the room is majority white people. Like I know we were saying earlier, sometimes, you know, it's exhausting to always have that conversation. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, if you're the only person of color in a room and that word is said, and that's room full of Caucasians, then by not saying something, you're saying it's okay. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? And that's not right or wrong. That's your individual take on how you want to handle it. But
how do you see that, Justin?
There's a certain level of fear probably take place in the person that's in the room. So
totally.
I want Justin's perspective on that because he's so wise.
I'll tell you, I have a lot of thoughts on that. But if I'm the only Black person in the room and I'm in a room full of white people, I am not about to jump out there and try to start a fight about that. No way. That's the least safe thing I could do. So I think that probably just gets swept under the carpet a lot because, you know, like nobody's going to try to
fight me. I'm starting to fight unless we're out in the woods. We're out in the woods. You know, right. Everybody right.
The backwoods of Jordan.
That's all right.
Yeah. But in terms of
public space, and we're in a corporate setting, and no, you're gonna hear. You're not gonna slide that word on by me. No, it's not happening.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't think the onus is on the Black person. I think the onus is on the white people to police themselves. It's not on the Black people to defend themselves. So
I disagree with that. Totally.
I'm gonna tell you why I like that. I like that. That's two parts. I think it's on the individual person to stand up for themselves, but it can also be more life changing, and then more to hear in the room of all white and one African American, someone that is white standing up and saying, "Hey, this ain't right." I mean, I don't feel comfortable, even though back in the 50s.
White man,
right?
Patting me on my back, talking about I know
exactly.
Well, hell no. No, I'm finna tell you about yourself myself.
Okay. No, I understand.
I'm sorry, y'all getting me off track here. I'm trying to stay with the program.
I Brother Carter, because the notion that you need some white savior to step in and save the day is offensive. Like I can speak for myself. I don't need you to come in here and speak for me like I'm incapable. Right. At the same time, that could be racist.
I don't think that's where Justin was coming from. I get it where he's coming from, and I understand that what he's saying is you can still stand up for yourself. I 100% know that that's what you're going to do. But I also think having a white male, Hispanic, whoever else stand up and say, hey, this ain't right, you're wrong for that, also speaks to your character. Because if you're sitting silent in that room and you're hearing that information, I don't care. I'm looking at you ways. So you're sitting here hearing
I
someone.
think the best thing that I, as a white man, can do in
Lord,
that situation,
what can you do, Lord?
I, as the white man, can do.
You go back and forth.
Say, Valerie.
Now he's an unlicensed white man, yeah.
We're in the room.
Okay.
You're only black in the room.
Yes.
And so I'm, as a white man that
offended
by that, will stand up and look at you and say, Valerie, do you have anything to say about what you just heard?
Yes.
That wouldn't be offensive to me if he came to the white man and said, do you have anything to say?
If he came,
you heard what was just said.
Wait, the white man asking the black?
Yeah, like
yeah. That's actually standing
really
not saying, hey.
I love the conversation because like there's not 100% right answer any way you go.
No, I think it's going to be any period. But if the white person stands up or you know and asks the black person like feel about that word that this white person just used.
No, not feel about. Did you just hear what he said?
Right.
Then you don't have nothing to say. Then I'll just be
I think if he did that, I have a problem with him even doing that because to me that's more gaslighting. You're really going there.
Yeah. Well, you must be super upset.
You must be super upset. You must be super upset because you're really going in there more. Now you're making it clear that the insults are targeted at me, and you know that those are insults. Because I would go back at him and say this. Well, you're over here asking me. Obviously, it touched you, or it should have. So, what's your opinion on it? You get what I'm saying?
And it's almost like questioning that person's like blackness in a way. Like, hey, how proud are you? Are you going to stand up for yourself?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Like, I would tell them to
such
sit
a
down.
great point.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
if you're more mad at that
guy. I'll sit my white self on down.
All right, Justin was trying to say. Go ahead, Justin.
As to the question about understanding other races, I would say I would put the difficulty at a 10 for me, a 10 out of 10. That is, I've spent a lot of time trying to learn. I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I've learned so much about my whiteness in the last 5 years. But I would say that I understand about 2% of your experience as a black person. I now recognize the economic ramifications of things that have happened, over the last 100 years and how the system is so disproportionately leaning towards in my favor. But, to put myself in your shoes, all I can do is understand it on an academic level at best. And I think for me to pretend that it's more than that is a disservice to you.
Because you never can be in those shoes. You wasn't raised in them.
That's right.
I hold up, man. Oh, somebody else.
No, I think O'Neill wanted to jump up here.
So in your defense, I would say you could. Well, no, I'm sorry, not in your defense.
He's not going to defend you.
Supporting your argument. I would suggest that you through interaction with black people, genuine interaction with black people, like friendships or just open and honest conversation like this. I think you can bump up that number from 2% to like 10. With a better understanding of anything, you can move more. I don't know if freely a word, but I wanted to engage with that hypothetical really quick, in maybe 30 seconds or less. If I were in a room, all white guys, a couple of them start throwing around the N-word. I don't think it's a question of me not speaking up because I'm afraid they're all going to beat me up. I would actually feel empowered to crush everybody in the room. But I'm not looking at it from a combat perspective. What I would probably do is politely but assertively throw in, hey guys, y'all mind not using that word, please? I'd really appreciate it. Not make it uncomfortable.
But I think that's the thing. I'm jumping on that.
Go ahead.
I think that's the thing that why people are comfortable, because we're just saying you're not doing it because it make it you can still, one of the words that my rapper but one of the things that my husband used all the time, be intelligent when you put them in check.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with calling someone out on something respectfully when it's wrong.
Sure.
I have no problem with being the only person in the room standing up for what's right. I think I am just as complicit in sitting in the room being quiet as the person or people that are spewing out negative words towards someone. So that's just mine.
I think I would be guilty sometimes in that situation because not I don't always feel like saving the day. I don't always feel like I have to be Superman. Sometimes I just want to be.
Yeah,
sometimes I just be a presence in the room like everybody else.
Right.
I don't appreciate the feeling of being ostracized, but I also don't always feel a need to speak up. Maybe that's a problem. I'm open to changing that.
Well, I think everybody has their own talents and gifts and needs and desires. There was a time that I was in a room and I was lonely in the room, afraid, and just had whole other things. Now when I in a room, I belong in the room. I feel as if I belong in the room.
So your
and
insecurities don't take effect on
no.
you.
So, and I think a lot of that was, like you said, the word was, that's exactly right. I was in and I'm not saying that was somebody else's issue, that was mine. And so I sat in a room and allowed people to say and do things and just wanted to just stay in that corner. The person that I am today, I believe that God has given me a true voice and the confidence to be bold enough to speak up for someone else that may be in that same position that I was, that didn't feel confident enough to speak up. So.
And the main tool of this conversation is never meet ignorance with ignorance. Always be a little bit above the ignorance that are facing you, coming toward you. Like you said, be intelligent. Take a deep breath. Take a woosah before you react.
Yes.
I believe in acting, not in reacting to situations in life. So people need to learn how to just sit back a little bit.
Well, if we can take this back to dating.
Oh yeah.
If we get this back to dating, I really want to know: is there anyone currently in it that's on the call?
Abigail.
No. Abigail stepped out for a second. Anyone else that's in a interracial dating relationship right now, or just recently got out of one?
So I would say, as of a few months ago, I recently got out of one, and I think a question was, trying to understand that other race and their culture, and I find it difficult at times because more than anything, I wanted to be empathetic, and I want to be able to say I understand where you're coming when there's no way I possibly could.
So it was disingenuous, not intentional.
Not intentional, but as there was just no way because I didn't grow up in a third world country. I couldn't put myself in that situation. And one of his fights, she was crying and very emotional because she was starting to like outgrow some of her clothes. And immediately in my head, I went to, hey, like as a husky child, I went through several sizes very rapidly. And that was always very sad, like, trying to put on a shirt or button up a pair of pants and it wouldn't fit. And she was saying, that's not the same at all. My family couldn't afford to buy me new clothes, and I've had to wear this same clothes for years and years and years. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's completely different. And I'm mad because here I am just trying to empathize and say, I understand how emotional, this situation is. And it just blew up.
And it should have.
And it should have, because
Son, I got
it was completely different.
Yeah, it's
completely, absolutely different.
But you'll find out even in your own race that conversation would be different.
Yeah.
Well, any man trying to talk to a woman about weight challenges is a conversation you shouldn't be in.
Not gonna be. That's not
gonna
be.
Wait, hold on. Justin's saying something.
I think we heard it.
Yeah.
Any man trying to talk to a woman about her weight is not gonna.
It's different.
Yeah. So the best thing you can do is you look beautiful.
Yeah. And she did. She always did. Anyways.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
What was the question? I stepped away.
Is anyone currently? I think you said you were. Is there anyone besides Abigail that is
dating outside your race?
Outside your race.
So currently, I'm not dating anyone.
Okay.
It's like a period where I focus on myself. But recently, I've
what was the most
dabbled.
challenging thing, or what was the most challenging point in that relationship, or actually before the relationship? It was really a relationship, just going up to the individual. What did you see about that person that you like, and then how did you move forward?
I saw intelligence.
How do you see intelligence? If you if you see me at the restaurant, you don't know if I'm intelligent.
Oh no. Yeah. In that case, no, there's no intelligence. I'm looking at physique. I'm looking at physique.
It's a reason for that.
Okay.
So you're looking at the outer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything different that they're looking when they see someone that's out of their race or in their race?
Out of race, in races. I mean, that's the first thing you.
So the reason I'm asking that question is, if that's what you're attracted to, now to pull that onion back a little more, you're going into the color of someone's skin to be able to determine whether or not. Why are we looking at that if you're attracted to the outer person? Why are we looking at that to make that be the deciding factor of whether or not I'm going to date someone? If I'm
because I have to understand that it's more to this than me. And see, when I dated outside of my race, you the white and black man trying to date you, me and you on the surface, but to take you into the depths of who I am, my family, my culture, and all of this stuff, that can be kind of difficult.
So
go ahead.
So do you find that it's still more racially divided or issue on the black side versus on the other side, or is the same?
I think it comes, and y'all can come jump in anytime. I think it's based on your upbringing.
I would wholeheartedly agree. I think the difference between one family and the next is one family might be okay with it and one family might not. The circumstances that would make that family okay, I would have to say that they've been they're well cultured.
Okay.
Whereas the opposite, the section of like whatever that race's society is into. I'm not sure that makes sense. But
no, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
And another thing, it's difficult enough trying to date within my own race, and so being married to you is difficult for 40 years.
Wow,
but I'm just saying, we've been together for 40 some odd years.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And it's a difficult thing, even in being raised up together almost. So trying to put these different equations in, the white, the black, that's adding to the already difficultness that we're facing as individuals. You know what I'm saying? So
May I ask you a question?
Shoot.
In another world, in another universe, could you see yourself being married 40 years to say a white woman?
I don't understand that question. Another world, another time, you mean?
Yeah, like
you didn't have me.
So let's say complete hypothetical.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Okay. I couldn't myself married to nobody other than this woman.
Wow. I mean, that's the only right answer.
Cue the applause.
What if look that person though?
And what if Miss Carter was white?
Ooh, same person,
same personality,
on the inside, same interests, same sense of humor,
skin tone.
She's a white woman.
That she'd be the same woman.
But would she be the same? Would her being white have changed?
I guess he's.
There's no way she'd be the same.
And I also think when you're going into dating, and especially if you're going outside of your race, I feel like it really depends on where the intention is. If you say, I specifically want to date a black guy, or like I specifically want white women, like that's where I think it gets problematic. Whereas like you can be attracted to features, you can be attracted to, a certain type of feature, a certain type of look that, generally, is within a certain culture, right? And that, is normal and, stuff like that. But if you are like, no, I only date this kind of person, it's a little, that's when I'm like,
I speak to who you are as an individual. Go ahead.
Right.
Earlier, we were talking about, is it racist to have preferences? And I think largely the thought was, no, it's not racist, but it depends on why you have those preferences. Like I was telling,
that's called prejudice.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Right.
I agree with that. But I was talking with Abby about this earlier this week. I was messaging with a black woman, and we were talking into a DM. Yeah, it's a little bit of a slip and slide. Yeah, but she was telling me, she's like, "Oh, I love white guys. Y'all are so nice," as if to say black guys weren't always nice. Yeah. And I was like, "That's a little racist, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And then does she only like you because, I got a white guy, I bagged one.
Right. Like we had just started talking and she already liked me because she had made the assumption that I was going to be very polite.
Anymore.
Yeah.
We stopped.
She didn't had no idea you was going to take her out in the woods and
put her to sleep back upside down.
Another white stereotype, by the way.
Another white stereotype, right.
Jason was not black.
I actually love that we turned it to that, because we were just talking about how it really affects just the African American, but that was definitely racist.
Absolutely.
Just another level. But
right, and it wasn't
ignorant.
Yeah, would you say it was ignorant? Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Well, and it makes me wonder too, like what happened in her previous relationships with black men.
And that's something we're going to talk about because people don't understand the backgrounds of others. We're going to take a quick pause for the pause and we'll be right back.
Real quick.
Justin, are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right.
Justin, do you remember what we were talking about before?
Brother Carter, back.
I think Tristan was talking about knowing the backgrounds or something of
like earlier we were discussing like if you're dating somebody interracially, it's like if you're not like cognizant of their culture, it's like, well, can you really connect if you don't know that side of it? Like, how much of your personality, how much of your identity is your race?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that.
And so I know we had to come to those here, but is it always when it comes to I want to say interactive for some reason, interracial relationships. When it comes to that, does it always have to be about culture, or could it just be about individuals, like I was trying to speak of earlier with my wife and I?
Well, not necessarily cultural, but more so like your experience. That because every like different races have different experience in America. Like a white person and a black person are going to have very different experiences in America. So it's like, does that affect how well that you can actually connect to this person? Like, can you find common ground?
I want to make a difference on that with you, especially in 2022 at this point in our lives. There's not much difference between black, white, indifference. I think it's. I think our differences come from our upbringing, what we learned coming up as young kids, the young boy, the young Justin, the young Tristan, that boy that learned a lot of things in his life.
But it also is access. It is a lot of difference.
I'm not with relationships. No, there's a difference. No question.
But it does come in with relationship, because if my cultural and my financial, a lot of things on how people choose to date is.
I'm different with you again.
Okay.
Because if I'm in an elite area of my life, I'm not gonna go meet a woman that's way down here.
But what does that mean?
I disagree.
As far as
I feel like it's more common for men to choose down.
But when you say down, is that like an economic?
Wait, we talking about money here?
Right.
Well, I'm talking about people in your circle. You're usually gonna hook up a meet with someone that's pretty much in your circle, correct? I ain't been on a date scene in 50 years.
But I'm gonna say, and this is me, I think I asked the question earlier. If you are attracted to someone, you're at a restaurant, someone catches your eye, you don't know their
economical
you don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're attracted to that person simply because of what you see on the outside.
Right.
So you start to date a person based off of that, and then as you get to know a person, things start to either fall or get better. Would you say?
I would say it's different for men and women.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would say it's different for men and women.
So expound. Yeah.
And I don't want to speak to women as like, a monolith, like one figure.
No, you're not talking about the group.
You're talking about just in general.
Yeah. I'm suggesting that you will find more often than not when looking for partners who can guide and protect.
Yes.
I feel like you're more you're in a better position to do that if you're at a higher if you're higher tax bracket, right? So like if I make $500K a year versus a guy who makes $30K a year, 7 to 8 times out of 10, I feel like majority of women are going to choose the higher earning guy.
And it depends what you want out of life. If love is the only object in a relationship, and the only thing that matters is you and that person and together.
But even again,
I know
that's very general.
I know.
But I feel like that might be an artifact of society. I mean, like men have always been the breadwinners, so it's like now we bring up our girls to think like, oh, I need to find a man to provide for me.
Yeah.
Bus.
Me too. And I just want to finish this. Okay. But if you do want a family, if you want to raise children, then you're going to have money to pay for them, to provide for them, to put them in a home. And so if that becomes something you're interested in, then yes, you need to be provided for. That man needs to be able to provide for you and your family and to make some money.
Sure. I don't think anybody would disagree.
Right.
But I don't think that's what's happening though. Like men aren't choosing women because of their status in like their financial status. I feel like majority of men are looking at the looks, like the aesthetic, like how does she look? Is she pretty? Does she have nice hair? How's the body? All of that, right? But I feel like majority of women don't see it the same way. Now, not all.
I
all.
cannot please just let this lady enter the room. I'm going to enter the room.
Okay, please.
Okay. As a lady, and I appreciate what you're saying, it should be that the man, because that way that I want to believe that God ordained the world to be for the man to take care of the woman, and the woman to take care of the home. However, when a woman is looking for a man, or not looking, when she is at that point, it's not about are you financially able. It's and I would hope it would be about, but how does he treat me? How does he make me feel? It's not necessarily how much money you make, because my husband and I have this thing. If he's making $7.50 an hour and I'm making seven, who we got $15 an hour we're making. And I believe that when you go and you're looking for a mate, you want someone that's going to care about you, not how much financial that they're going to bring. And that's why so many relationships falling apart, because when you put money at the front of it,
But
you've already
that's what he's saying is not a lie.
So you wanted to get me.
I think we can all
What he's
agree
saying
that
is
it's
not
we go
right.
relationships for superficial reasons.
Right.
You know, you go into because you find them attractive or they drive a nice car. You know, you approach people for superficial reasons. I mean, all we have is the visual,
See,
what we
just
see.
had some girls on the show, but 2 weeks ago, up and coming women, and they would not date a guy work for the city. They want a guy.
That's not what said.
They said they got
Well, yeah, but
have
that's
money.
the thing is,
Gotta
like,
have money.
if-
Gotta have good jobs.
Absolutely.
That's what they
if
were
she
saying.
makes more than you, then are you off the table? You know what I mean? Like, job figures, but you're like working construction and you're just kind of like scraping by. Like, that doesn't mean you're not working hard. You know,
I agree with
are men not allowed to?
Because a certain level of men see a woman at that level and think that's out of my league.
Like you're not eligible.
Right. And so, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the reason women tend to not go after men in positions like that is because it affects the man's self-esteem to a point where the woman is now the breadwinner, but the man doesn't want to step up. And this is just in my experience, but then the man doesn't want to step up and then be the homekeeper. You know what I mean? Then at that point, the woman is in both roles. In a lot of cases, whenever women tend to go after men who are quote unquote below them financially, societally, whatever.
But I think that wouldn't y'all think, and you gotta wrap it up at some point. But wouldn't y'all think that has to do with the individual's self-esteem themselves, or how they feel about themselves?
Everything goes back to who you are as an individual and what you have inside of you. What was bred inside of you as young people. This young person is still us. Justin, he'll tell you the truth. That young 10-year-old boy that what you call that first book of yours, Justin?
The Righteous Rage of a 10-year-old boy.
Righteous Rage. That little 10-year-old boy is still there, correct? Am I speaking truth?
He is. Yeah. He doesn't get to run the show though.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. You have to get to a place where you can evolve from what was bred in you all your life. And that's with the cultural differences. That's with racism. That's with all these different things that take place in our lives. We have to relearn, should I say, retrain our brains, or so to speak.
More open.
Yeah. And so when we start dating with someone, not particularly of our race, but dating someone, period. Right. We got to learn, get to a place where we accept their baggage and realize I'm bringing that baggage to this relationship. So I'm not perfect. She's not going to be perfect. And so that's why you have so much division in place right now, because nobody's trying to understand the other person's baggage, in life. We just want to be understood. I'm perfect. Ain't nothing wrong with me, but all this stuff, what you hollering all for no reason at all. I get that. I don't get that. We didn't raise up like that with all that hollering and screaming.
Well, I had a loud house.
I know. But I'm just saying, people don't ever get to that point when they start understanding that's how you were raised, and that's something that's a part of you. And so,
I love that you said that, because it brought it all back to perspective. And the perspective is, we're wrapping this show up, for me, is that we have learn to grow up. That culture, that person that you were as a kid, what you brought to the table, you have to really start.
You don't have to let that righteous rage exist.
You don't have to let it go.
Right, yeah. You don't have to let it
control
right.
you. True. You have to see something different. You have to be willing to be open. But then when you are being triggered and you are triggering someone else, just be conscious of the words and the things that you say. So we're at that time when we have to wrap up, and the way we do that is we go around and we allow the guests to say what they got out of the show. Also to leave the listeners with something. You want to keep it short and then tell them how they can find you and what's going on in your world. We'll start with you.
Okay. Now, as the
you are the
as the host of today's show.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think it's only fitting.
I did say I was
that I do the closing.
You sure right, brother.
And so, having said that, Valerie,
yes,
what have you learned about your today?
Thank you for asking. What I learned about the show is that just stay open, be respectful, and know that you don't have all the right answers, and you get the answers by being willing to have that conversation. So I've learned something from you, Brother Carl. I mean, I've actually learned something from all of us, everyone in here today, because everyone has a different perspective, but at the end of the day, we just have to respect each other's ways.
All right. Justin B. Long, tell people, what have you learned about yourself during this segment?
That I know even less about Black culture than I thought I did a couple hours ago.
So, Neil.
It gets better.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole point of life, is to try to continue growing and learning and becoming better versions of who we are. But I think it's so important to acknowledge that cultural differences do exist, and that's part of who people are, and we should embrace those things and not reject them. And I love learning these things about people who are different than me. And I think, we forget that that's what makes the world what it is. And it would be a terrible place if everybody was just like me.
Oh, I think it'd be a pretty good place.
Such a noble person.
Yes,
I love you, man. I love you. Christian, tell the people.
Wait. He didn't tell them how they can find him. What how can they find you, Justin? And what do you have going on?
I've got 7 books out there, and I am a guest on an awful lot of podcasts. And you can find everything there is to know about me on my website at jboydlong.com.
J Boyd.
Friday then.
All right, J Boyd. That's BOYD, right?
That's right.
All right. Christian, tell the people a little something about today's show.
I just think that today's show, especially, is just a good reminder that you can't put anybody into a box. Not everyone's experience is going to be the same, even if they come from the same background. A lot of things go into how people think and what they believe, and you have to be open to that. You can't just make assumptions about somebody, especially based on how they look.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And Jacob, how about yourself? What have you learned about today's segment, and what can you leave people with?
I would say that being a part of an interracial relationship is not only okay, but it can be a good thing. It can be mutually beneficial for both people. And just like any relationship, there is some negotiations that need to take place, but you have to be mindful of what you're negotiating in order to make that happen. Make it happen without completely forgetting who you are and where you came from.
All right, good. And we have Brother Hudson over here. Hudson, right?
Yes.
Right. Brother Hudson, I'm going to let you tell the people a little bit about yourself, but I want to ask you this question before you do that. Do you find it easier to accept white people into hip-hop culture after today's show?
Christian beat.
All right, that's a troll.
Will you go home and listen to Jack Harlow?
Yeah.
It started with the Beastie Boys. And ever since then,
Goats.
Vanilla Ice.
Is it easier, or you still having wrestling, or tell the people the bit?
I think it was easier before.
We made it harder.
You've thrown the brick wall.
That's my. I set us back. Sorry, white people.
To be honest, I don't have a contention with white people in hip hop. My only issues is that people know right from wrong. If you know right from wrong, you know not to go out in public in any setting and start throwing around N-words, whether that song is on or not. Okay. It's a little different when you're at the concert and the rapper is on stage and encouraging.
And you're in the back.
And the volume is so loud, you have no idea if they're really saying it or not, but you know they're saying it because you can hear it. But
environment is important.
And it's important. I think common sense is important as well. Don't go in a room full of black people and try to say, "Hey, what's up, my?" It's not gonna go the way you think it's gonna
go. This is so enlightening.
Yeah. So tell how you can be reached. What are you doing these days for yourself, and how you can be reached?
So my goal for the next my goal for the next 5 years is to create spaces for better discourse and debate. Open form as well as long form. I get a real kick out of conversations with people that I've never met, as well as that I've known for years, and I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed hearing the different perspectives, and even though we ultimately agree on the interracial thing, discourse is important to have. People's voices are important to be heard, and I want to.
You have your own podcast, anything like that?
I do not, but I do have some things coming. I do have a YouTube channel. There are no videos posted at this current moment.
Okay.
But I would like to thank you guys for giving me my first piece of content.
There you go.
I will absolutely show you in the best possible light, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you inviting me here.
Wow. All right, and Abigail.
Yes.
Last one. What did you expect us to get out of this today's segment?
Like O'Neill said, I think we all generally were on a similar page, but it's really, I think it's really important to get, there's white people here, there's black people here, you know what I mean? I think it's really good for us to get together and kind of talk about the different perspectives of it and the kind of ins and outs of it, because it's not a black and white issue, you know what I mean? There is kind of a lot that goes into it, and nothing in this world is really right or wrong. So I think it's really important that we have these discussions to kind of talk about the intricacies of quote unquote controversial topics.
All right.
But before we end it there, I gave a plug without actually giving a plug. My YouTube channel is, and this is very difficult. Get your pens and
okay, hurry up.
It's a Yellow Izanagi. That's going to be YELLOIZANGI. Yellow Izanagi. I plan on making that a lot easier. But for now,
we'll put it in the description.
Sure.
So having said that, hey, thank you, Val, for creating the Love and Victory show with yourself. It's a very beautiful thing that we're doing here. Just pray that God continue to inspire and bless, and just continue doing what He's doing in our lives. So until next, we can be reached every Saturday from 7 to 10
on Raise the Praise 100. You can follow all of our social medias, LV with Val, on every platform.
Every platform, LV with Val. That's very simple. Nothing complicated like Hudson has.
And you can go back to the Love and Victory show with Val on YouTube.
Yes.
That's the only thing. And if everybody can turn to the cameras and say goodbye, we're out.
Black people, Justin, we love you.
Love you guys. Bye.